Hey, good morning. My name is Smit. I am from cohort 18, and today I'm going to give my Capstone Project 1 on global cybercrime trends from 2019 to 2024, a data analysis of complaints and losses from net crime that was reported. So by nature, I'm a SOC analyst, and as a SOC analyst, I wanted to explore global patterns in cybercrime to see which countries are most affected and how losses have evolved over the years. This helps us focus on where to focus our SOC energy and which countries to be aware of. The dataset I used is from loss from netcrimes.csv contains yearly cybercrime complaint and financial losses for 117 countries from 2019 to 2024. The tools I have used is Google Colab, Python, Kaggle dataset, and dataset I have used is cybersecurity incident dataset. Now to begin, I imported dataset using pandas and matplotlib. The dataset is called loss from netcrime.csv and it contains cybersecurity complaint and financial loss data for 117 countries from 2019 to 2024. This data includes number of complaints and total losses reported each year, making it a good fit for visualization-based analysis. Loading it into a data frame allowing me to perform my aggregation, trend analysis, and country comparison easily. Now, on your screen, you can see the code I have used, and on the right side, you see the chart. Now, the chart, you see that there's a big tick of uptick of complaints from 2019 to 2020. But from 2020 to 2024, there's only half the amount of uptick in complaints. But why this is important is because even though complaints is more, is less, the financial losses are more. And we'll see this in the next chart. Next, I looked at global trend over time. In this line chart, we can see that cybercrime complaints have been steadily increasing year by year. Similarly, the bar chart shows financial losses also rising. This trend tells us that not only is cybercrime becoming more frequent, but is also getting more costly. As SOC analysts, this emphasizes the growing importance of proactive detection and response strategies. For example, on the screen, we can see that global financial losses from cybercrime from 2019 to 2020 only increased by around uh, 10 billion, but it increased six times, like around 120 billion from 2019 to 2024. From previous slide, we just saw that the complaint increased from 2019 to 2020 were like 2 million, but from 2020 to 2024, only 1 million complaints were increased. So less complaints, but more financial loss. In this chart, we are focusing on countries with the highest financial losses in 2024. The United States, China, and Russia top the list, which makes sense given their size and digital infrastructure. However, countries like Germany and Ukraine also are in top 10, is possibly due to a ransomware or geopolitical situation going on. This helps identify where cyber defense needs to be strongest and where global SOC team may need to focus their attention and monitoring. The scattered plot compares the total number of complaints with total financial losses per country. Interestingly, there isn't a perfect correlation, meaning some countries experience many low damaging attacks while others face fewer but extremely damaging incidents. This insight is useful in understanding not just how often people attack happens, but how impactful they are, which is key for setting response priorities. For example, in next slide, we'll see that the United States is not to be found, even though it was the highest financial losses. But when compared by maximum losses per complaint, it did not come into chart. So there were many complaints and there were many losses. Instead of just volume, now this bar highlights the severity. We calculated loss per complaint, which tells us how damaging each cybercrime is on an average. Countries like Luxembourg and Saudi Arabia rank high, not because they have many cases, but because each case is financially significant. This could indicate high value target or advanced threat. It reminds us that even low volume regions shouldn't be ignored. For example, the first is Mongolia, then Argentina, and Chile. Like you would not expect these to be high in cybercrime or high um, number of losses per complaints, you would think it would be Russia, China, or any other countries, or United States. But it's not it. Even though the financial loss is high in those countries, there are complaints are also high, so the per average becomes very less. To conclude, this project helped me understand how cybercrime varies across region and years. Visualizing trend in both frequency and severity helped me recognize which countries faced most risk and how SOC teams can prioritize threat. From a professional point of view, I learned how to extract insight from a structured data set and tell a clear cybersecurity story through data. I was also able to find out that cybercrime is rising both in volume and financial impact, with complaints and losses increasing globally from 2019 to 2024. The United States, China, and Russia are most financially impacted countries, likely due to large digital ecosystem and more sophisticated threats. Some countries show higher loss per complaint, indicating fewer but more damaging attacks, critical for SOC team to detect early. Visualizing this dataset helped me uncover pattern relationship between complaint volume and financial damage, improving my understanding of cybercrime severity by region. As a analyst, this insight can support better risk prioritization, threat awareness, and resource allocation when responding to global incident. Thank you for being part of this presentation with me.